States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. All right, we'll go ahead and convene our meeting.
Mayor, that was Miss Johnson's class from Westbrook Elementary. Is that students from there? Thank you.
So we'll start with our roll call. Misty Cottle.
Here.
Anita Lowry. Jeff Upton. Here. Jan Throgmorton. John Collins. Kira Hungate.
Here.
Don Rollins. Here. Joe Tower. City Attorney, City Clerk, and Mayor are all three present. Did you get all that, Marcia?
I did, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, before we get started, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. It's nice when we have a good crowd at our city council meetings. Unfortunately, we are missing four of our council members. I'm not sure if they planned this. You guys may have scared them off. I don't know. We'll see later, I guess. But I'm sure they'll miss the fact that they were absent and you guys were here. So before we get started, we need to adopt our agenda. Has everyone looked over that?
Yes.
So I'd like to make one amendment to it and put it ahead of the business reports. We have some school children here and teachers who want to address us, so I'd like to put that right after the public forum. Is there any objections to that? No. We have a motion and a second. Move forward with the agenda.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it. And the contract.
Do I?
Add the contract.
Oh, sorry. That was short memory. So we also need to amend the agenda to add the contract that's in front of you with our architect. And we'll put that under new business as item number 5. All right, Misty, would you still make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Oh.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, next, the approval of our meeting minutes from February 13th. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes? We have a motion and second.
I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes as mailed. I'll second it.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, so next on our agenda is our public forum. So what we do is we encourage you, anyone who wants to address the council, especially if you have compliments for us, we'll allow you a couple extra minutes for compliments, but you only get 2 minutes if you're harassing us. Anyway, so 2 minutes each to come and address the council. We won't take any action on items that come before the council during the public comment section, okay? We can ask questions back and forth, but we won't vote on anything during the public comment section of the meeting. So, would anyone like to address the council? Yes, sir. Tell us your name.
I will. My name is Matthew Miller. Good evening. I have been a West Fork resident about 5 years, live on South 40 Road.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know, that's on the north end of town, gravel road. And I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of my neighbors, actually, and myself. We've had some road issues with South 40 for a minimum of the 5 years that I've been there, much longer, probably since the time it was built, to be honest with you. And a couple of us had, over the last 5 or 6 or 8 years, kind of taken it upon ourselves to try to keep that road in decent condition, because it washes out. We've dealt with 3 public works directors in the last 5 years, I think, all of which did do something to address the issues. Probably everything that was within their control, to be quite honest with you. None of those things have really helped. It's just a Band-Aid, and it's a constant Band-Aid. So I thought, well, I even apologized to Isaac tonight because it's not personal. It's a city issue, right? And it's a road issue. So I just want to know if we can do anything, if we can get the ball rolling. I mean, we at one point were promised it was going to be paved. One of the neighbors annexed his property from the county into the city, so there wasn't a break in city, county, city. And still, to this day, nothing really has been done. The ditches are horrible. The road is flat. The water runs down it like a waterfall, and we're back to square one every spring. So that's all I really, I'm hoping that the council will address it. Maybe this year something can happen.
So I can give you some information on that.
Okay.
So Isaac has just implemented this year, first time we've ever had it in West Fork that I know of, but he and his committee meet, and at the during the budget talks they're meeting, and they have a set of criteria on what roads are going to get paved, what roads aren't.
Okay.
That's with budgeted money. Now we do get state funds for paving, and that's extra, right?
Right.
But Isaac has carved out in his budget, was it $50,000, Isaac?
Yes.
For just in-town paving for the roads that don't meet the state standards. And I'm assuming that South 40 probably
Does not meet the
does
state
not.
standard. And that has always been part of the problem, right? The ditches don't meet the standard, the base material doesn't meet the standard, whatever the case may be. Fact of the matter is, it's still a city road.
It is, and I would just, so we have a lot of roads in the city
12 to be exact.
that haven't been paved either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So some of these roads have been sitting here a long time without being paved.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that that's good or that's bad. I'm just saying there is a list. I will tell you that some of the guys from west of here came down and petitioned hard to get some paving done, and it did them some good, I think. They were active in the city. They're still here tonight. Isaac's going to pave part of their road, and they're continuing to come and participate in city meetings, and I can
Right.
tell you that that goes a long ways when we don't just see it
Right.
one and done. So,
Right. I completely understand. And like I said, I've talked to multiple directors,
Yeah.
and it's on a mountain,
yeah.
right? Water runs downhill.
That's right. And I can tell you that we're light years away from where we were when Isaac got here. So as
Yeah.
far as planning and trying to get those roads paved.
Okay, well, and I appreciate it. Like I said, I just wanted to bring it to council's
Yeah.
attention, see if maybe something can happen. If my fellow neighbors want to speak, they can speak.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come on up, tell us your name. We got to get you on record.
My name's Carl Adams. I live on South 40 Road. I've been living there for a few years, but I just want to voice my feelings, I don't know how many of us is up there, 5, 6, maybe 7, and I understand, that that's an issue because you don't have multiple residencies there. But we have no city water, we have no sewer. We actually have our fire service. I was a fireman for several years, and if you don't have water, you can't put out a fire. So there's no water up there. A tanker won't do that. So I feel like that we're being neglected. Actually, I do feel like we're being neglected because everybody that lives in the city should be treated equally and get the services that the city provides. And so every time we talk to anybody, they come up there, but you don't have the right equipment to make the drainage and ditches and all that. And that issue is going to be there forever if you don't fix the road where it'll drain, because the water runs right down the middle of the road. And so I'm up here to try to make peace with my wife, okay? So do what you can. I know that the wheel that gets the most oil gets serviced first. So if we need to come up here every day or every week or every month, I don't mind doing that.
Okay.
If that's what we need to do to get something done.
I can tell you that we do now have a plan in place. We have criteria for grading. It's not just whoever Isaac decides to pave now. That's how it's been done in the past. And That's probably why we still have some city streets like Cedar Street that's been in West Fork
Yeah.
since the 70s and still
Well,
not paved.
if you don't have access to a grader then,
No, we don't.
see, that's.
We don't do any of our own paving.
It's gonna take
That's all
something like that
contracted.
in order to get the road in shape, you know. Paving it right now wouldn't solve anything if you don't condition the road for it.
Yeah.
So, if there's anything I can do as a resident, I'm glad to do that.
Okay.
But, I just feel like the city should act better in our behalf, because we're residents too, we pay the same amount of taxes as everybody else does. Anyway, thank y'all very much.
Anyone else?
I'm not much of a speaker, but I'll put in my 2 cents for you.
All right.
My name is Doyle Wright. I live on South 40. I've probably lived there I have lived there longer than any of these guys. Initially, the road was built. It was in good shape. I kept it graded for a large amount of time. We've got a lot more traffic in there now. My problem with the road is the way it's maintained. You keep it flat. Sometimes at one point you just brought out a backhoe and drug it backwards. The road stayed flat. You've got to crown the road, pitch the road through the ditches. I think a lot of times it's more about education the way this road is maintained. I'd love to pave it. It would solve a lot of the city's problems, but it is not maintained properly. And that takes knowledge. It doesn't take large equipment, it just takes knowledge. And if anybody wants to talk to me about the way that road acts, they're welcome to talk to me anytime. I know how this road acts. They just need help. And maintenance would save the city a lot of money. And paving would be nice too. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer Sims from the Economic Development Beautification Committee.
You also live at South 40.
No. But I do live on a city road that's not paved, but that's not an issue. So I'd be happy for them to be paved. I don't care if I get paved. It's not a problem for me. Anyway, I just wanted to celebrate that our Welcome to West Fork sign is finally in, and the solar lights are there, and the landscaping is in, and Isaac Ogle volunteered his time, Jennifer Ogle volunteered hers, and of course we couldn't have made it happen without the city. So I just thought that was worthy of celebrating because it's been in the works
indeed.
for a while. So if you haven't seen it, you should drive by and see it. We did not meet in February. We will meet next week and commence our normal Tuesday after City Council meeting here in this room. So it starts at 6:30. Everybody's welcome. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Would anyone else like to address the council in the public forum? All right, so we'll close the public forum. And we'll move into our new business in which we put the Mrs. Johnson and the school kids in that spot. So would you guys go ahead and come on up?
That's what it says. I'm Jennifer Johnson, and I'm a 4th grade teacher at West Fork Elementary. And we've been really busy with our 4th graders, so they've come tonight to share with you what we've been doing. And then Mrs. Porter and I are here to answer any questions you might have or fill in any information that we've missed out trying to help these kids prepare tonight. They're nervous, so bear with them.
Might have to adjust the microphone a little bit. There we go. All right. Start by telling us your name, okay?
My name is Swiston Matters. We, the West Fork Elementary 4th graders, have built and now want to install 2 little free pantries in the West Fork community. Hi, I'm Andrew Grayson. Miss Porter brought us the idea of an action book club, which means we read the book Crenshaw and put ourselves into action, making our community better. Since the book Crenshaw has a theme of hunger, we choose to use the Little Free Pantry project as our service project with the help of volunteers. a generous donation from Lowe's and support from our administration, we have been able to get this project up and running.
Hi, my name is Addie Baker. We will build our little free pantries on March 9th, 2018, and we will install our first pantry this week and hold the grand opening on April 6th, 2018. We would love for you to join us. Thank you.
So hang on, guys. So what is the book that you read?
Crenshaw.
Crenshaw, and what's it about? I've never read it.
A family, there's this boy named Jackson. His family's poor. They're hungry. And Jackson has an imaginary friend named, he's a cat. His name is Crenshaw.
Huh.
They had to live in the minivan.
Ah. Okay.
So his family goes in and out of making it, being able to live in an apartment and pay rent and utilities and stuff, and then they go through hard times, and this goes back and forth. And a couple different times they have to live out of their minivan. And when does Crenshaw show up?
When he's having problems.
Anytime Jackson, the main character, is having problems, Crenshaw shows up. He and his family constantly struggle with hunger. So that led us to our service project of building 2 little free pantries. And we want to install those where anybody in the Westport community can use them. And one of the places that we've gotten approval to use is at the administration office. Mr. Carnes had that idea because it was, a lot of people pass through there, so it would be very visible, and it's easy access for people to stop and get items out of the little free pantry or stop and drop stuff off because there's parking right there, and it's easy to get to. The other place we would like to put it is near the Westport Public Library. But we do know that we've been made aware that there's construction about to happen there. So we just wanted to visit with you all about our project and see if we could get a location approved for somewhere else in the city that would see a lot of traffic and be easy for people to get to.
I would suggest Library Hall. That's just
we had taken into consideration the library and Library Hall in that nice area. Our goal is to make it available for people that nobody really has to know that they're using it, so they don't have to go inside to get to it. Right. They can pull up, take advantage of it, or even fill it if that's what they choose to do. So, but then we kind of ran into the little hiccup of the construction. So, but really, we really hope to have approval to have it placed somewhere in the city. We have the one on campus. That one's not a problem, but we have 2. So that's why we're here to visit with you.
And a decision doesn't have to be made tonight. We just want to bring it to your attention, let you know what we are doing, and just get the conversation started on where a good location would be.
So Isaac, you still back there?
Yep. What was the date of when you were going to put it up?
Our first one is actually we're going to dig a little hole in the ground tomorrow, and then we're going to have a ribbon cutting filling ceremony on Friday, April 6th for the first one that's on campus. So if you want to join us, we're going to do that at 9. At 9 in the morning. And then we have a rain date for the following Friday in case.
So that'll be April 3rd.
No, it's fine. Isaac, yes, I had mentioned that maybe down at the community center, until we knew something more about what's going to happen at the library. Is there a spot down there that?
I'm sure there is. Yeah, that'd get a lot of traffic with the post office being close by. And seniors stay pretty active down there, so it gets a lot of traffic in there.
Okay. So maybe if you can get with Isaac, he can just make sure that we're not going to dig a hole in an electrical line or something.
Absolutely.
And then once we get the library project finished, if we want to move it, then we can have that discussion at that time.
Okay.
That sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
That's great. Well,
What about you
So they're
guys?
talking about down at the community center, like somewhere down there. Yeah, that would be great. We appreciate that.
Okay.
If you guys have any more questions, you know where to find us.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move into our business reports. John?
I was going to compliment them on it warms the cockles of many librarians' heart when kids read a book and makes them want to do something
Yeah, that's right.
useful and worthwhile. So anyway, I was glad that they thought the library would be a good location, which, I agree with that, so hopefully we can make that happen. But the community center would be good as well, especially maybe this year at least. So otherwise, don't have a whole lot to report. February's a pretty busy month, and we just have our ongoing activities with the story time, our knitting clubs and book clubs are meeting, and we're staying pretty busy with circulation. We've got a group from the school coming by tomorrow to do sort of the teachers are going to actually bring their class, two teachers are bringing their classes over to read to their students in the library. So this is something new that we're hoping will be a regular thing, and we appreciate working with the school over there, and the more collaboration we can have with them, the better. So, but otherwise, there's not anything new to report that I can think of. So.
What grades are the?
I think it's what's Mrs. Henderson, Henderson. So it's going to be young kids. So I think they're going to do some St. Patrick's Day books and some other sort of themes. So.
Any other questions for John? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
So, Paulette, before you get started, I was going to give a quick update on the Planning Commission. There's no one here to give an update for them, but we do have, I think it's the last meeting minutes before you. They are planning on bringing our next meeting, but they have made some adjustments to the fees that we charge for lot splits, subdivisions, that type of thing. Really bringing us more in line with some of the surrounding cities, so that should be coming before us at our next meeting. Any other questions about the planning? All right, Paulette.
Don't have a lot to report. Our numbers are up a little bit from last month. We closed the application process for our new hire. And I hope to have interviews lined up by this Friday. That's about all I have this month. Any questions?
How many did you get?
I think there's 14.
Well, that's good.
And we usually get a pretty good turnout of applicants, so it's kind of nice.
Any other questions for Pauletta?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Nelson?
We're up about 100 service calls. We're up to 312 from last month. Reports taken was 34. We issued 93 citations and served 54 warrants. Our arrests are also up, which is not necessarily a good thing. Our felonies were at 9. Our misdemeanors were at 16. Officer Underwood completed his national certification for the K-9. She's been batting 100% so far, hasn't she? She's done a good job. And Officer Goggins is now our firearms instructor. We took and passed that class. You'll have to scratch Chris Langston off the list for his class. He came down with pneumonia and has been in the hospital. But besides that, that's what we got going for right now. Any questions?
Any questions for the Chief? So there's been a lot of noise on Facebook over the weekend about dogs, and I just want to point out that in the Chief's report there are 16 instances where they responded to an animal call, whether it was a dog or whatever. So I know things get blown out of proportion sometimes on Facebook, but we are responding. We are working those. I don't want that.
Here's what we do. If it's not a vicious dog, the first time we see it, we do try and locate an owner. If we can locate that owner, we'll give them a warning, tell them keep their dog up. The second time it happens, they receive a citation. That's how we've done it ever since I've been here. If it's a vicious animal, we had one Friday, they receive a citation. Some of the stuff going on Facebook, we actually had an officer go and talk to the lady about the issue, but it ended up not being in Westbrook. It was in Washington County where it took place. But we do take action on the dogs. There are times when we can't get close enough to get the dogs. They run away. Or we just cannot find an owner for them. There are stray dogs around here. That does happen. Any questions with dogs?
So I would still come down to, John, and I appreciate the work you guys are doing, but I still take the stance that you guys aren't, your primary job is not chasing down stray dogs.
Right.
And furthermore, I don't know how many stray dogs I want put in the back of one of those cars that, we're paying good money for. So,
Absolutely.
Everybody just be aware of that as well. We don't have a dedicated person to animal control. Do we need it? Probably not 40 hours a week, we don't. So sometimes these issues, they seem simple and everyone has an answer to it, but keep in mind there's a little bit more that goes into it than just grabbing a computer and lashing out at the city or the police.
Right.
I do think we need a little bit better solution than what we have here.
I would agree with that. As a matter of fact, I have our animal ordinance, I had Christy pull that for me. I'm going to do some studying on that myself in my spare time to see what we can do to change it. Yes, sir.
Just a quick comment. If you poll the cities in the United States of America consistently over the last 50 years, animals at large is the most frequent problem that plagues every city. It is almost always the top of the list countrywide. It is not an easy problem to solve. It's incredibly expensive to attack it at all fronts, to build a paddock, to hire someone full-time, to equip that person and train that person. That person almost always requires a second person because you got to run that paddock 24 hours a day. And you've got, what do you do with your animals when you do interdict them? You euthanize them, or you try to adopt them out. It is a huge, huge problem. We're certainly able to cooperate with surrounding cities if we want to ever try to team up. A lot of cities are doing that across the country now, knowing they can't afford to do it themselves. So it's a possibility in the future.
Any other questions or thoughts on that?
Did I see a Bentonville car down here?
Yeah, we did get our free car. Cool. It didn't cost us. We are going to restripe it. It's going to look like a Westport car.
Awesome. So
it just takes some time to get some estimates and stuff. So, but yeah, that one was free. We can't beat free. We like free. So, anything else?
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Isaac?
I got a couple things. Our water loss did return to under 20%. Thank goodness. We did survive the 10 inches of rain that we got in 5 days at the sewer plant. We were able to work with the ADEQ and monitor our overflow there and work through that and submit our overflows. That did get us off the hook for the flow monitors. They got enough rain that we can get those out, so that'll be done. Nick talked like maybe by the end of next week we'd have those numbers to see where we stood on our I&I, and that way he can move forward with the facility plan of designing the lift station and the force main. That's kind of been our hang up for him moving forward on that process. He didn't know how much we were still going to have and needed to size that accordingly. We do have our contract with the Nowie Water Solutions to take some sludge out of the sewer plant now as part of our interim operating plan that Nick is working on. We're going to probably execute that probably end of next week, maybe the first of the following week. Let the sewer plant kind of get caught back up. it's worked hard in the last couple weeks trying to catch up. Davis was here. They come and did their 6-month warranty work and fixed 8 manholes, I believe, fixed the street cuts on Northwood. They're coming back to paint those.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah, so they'll be black for just like the asphalt for a while, and then the asphalt will fade, and then there'll be a black street cut in it. So, but that's about all I have. We did do some repairs at the pump station, our water pump station. I'm hoping to have Evans Enterprises come here and test our pumps to make sure that we need them to work more efficiently. We are burning a lot of power there. And we may even have to replace a pump in there. They're coming next Thursday, so hopefully I'll have an answer on that. But other than that, continuing to plug away at the easements up through there, trying to get my schedules lined up with everybody else's to meet and talk with them is a challenge, and trying to run folks down. Some of that land's for sale, trying to run those folks down. And we've got 3, and I've got a meeting at the end of the week with another one, and then the McLeans I'll meet with next week. So I'm hoping to secure those 2 and then move forward. And then Nick and Cassie Nick is starting the easement process for the pump line. So he'll turn Cassie loose on those, and we'll start acquiring those easements as well. So the ball is rolling, finally. The contract, we approved it on our end. Fayetteville took it before their commission and approved it. It is now at the ANRC for their review. It should be back in our hands in a couple of weeks, hopefully ready to sign, and we can put that behind us. We can check that off our to-do list. So I'm excited about that. I've read that contract too many times, and it's changed every time. So that's about all I got.
Give us an update on our sidewalks here at the railroad crossings too.
We're trying to do Atlas and Tim at Atlas and I are trying to do the railroad crossing without going through an engineer. We think we can get it together on a sheet and get it before Bashar at the state and get it approved, and then we can put it in the hands of the railroad to have their approval and hopefully move forward on that. The Doak Street sidewalk is designed. They submitted for a highway permit. We should have that back in a week or 2. And that's an open-ended permit they applied for, so we can do that. We can go down there and we can pour 100 feet of sidewalk this year and 100 feet next year, and it can carry on that way. We can pour it as we have the funds. And Rick with McGraw has just started surveying down on Robinson for the TAP grant, so he should have that 30% design. I'm hoping within a week or so. He's been down there surveying all week and part of last week, so yeah. But the one here at the railroad crossing, Randy Campbell, who is a James Place resident, was at one of our meetings, and I was able to speak with him, and he said if you can just get it approved through the highway department, then he said I can run it up our chain and get it done. So, and the work order we got for an engineer to do that was like $12,000 for design for 25 feet of sidewalk. So we kind of nipped that. Tim thought he could get that on a map sheet, and we can get it before the state and get it approved. So.
Any questions for Isaac? Isaac, on the, I know you haven't gotten the readings back yet on the flow, but have you been able to see any difference visually?
We have. We still get water down there. We still got quite a bit of I&I. We have eliminated all of it out of Basin 1, which is West Fork Acres, And up around the Baptist church, that's basin 1. It shows hardly anything on the flow monitor. Basin 4, which is the school area, and Clifton, and even down to Hidden Creek, that's where we're still getting most of our I&I, and that's the older part of town, so it stands to reason. We have identified a few things. I've met with Rob at the school. They have an issue there between the middle school and the high school that they're going to try to address, and we're going to try to. Davis has got to do some TV and right there on some repairs they did. We're going to try to get them to just go on up the line and see if they can find the problem. So to help them out. Clifton, we have found a few issues, and we have issues with grinder pumps. None of them have watertight lids, so all of them are leaking. I did talk to Melissa Wanacott at the health department, and we're going to try to work through that. We may have to do a little on our end to help citizens repair their pumps and get them up to standards, and then make them, hold them responsible for keeping them up after that. That's one of our big issues. Typically they sit right underneath the eave of the house, and if they don't have a lid on them, rainwater's just running right in them and pumping all they can pump into our sewer. So
I have one more question. Were you just hired when the state came down and told us that none of the roads we had on our list to pave?
I was just after that. Yes.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you guys know that we had your road on a to-do list, and the state turned us down on all of the money for all the roads because none of them had any requirements. So it just kind of shot us out of the water, and we were just as disappointed as you are, I'm sure. But we are trying. We are, and I just wanted to say that. I wanted to wait to ask Isaac if I couldn't remember if he was here with me then or not. But
and we did get turned down again this year for the state aid paving. We had put in for, and I tried to do the streets that I knew would meet the criteria. We was going to try to do the rest of McKnight Street, some of Pleasant down there that met and we didn't get it this year. And they said we were possibly going to get it every 5 years. Would be more realistic. We wouldn't get it every year, even every other year. Right. It'd be like more every 5 years.
I appreciate it. I just want to let you know that we were disappointed too, and we're looking at ways to try to do something.
Yeah.
So do we have a new timeline yet with this timing to pay bills and stuff? I know at one point it was October of 2018, but we're way far away.
I think Nick is now at fall of 19. We should be tied in. That's if everything goes well with getting easements, because our funding through the ANRC does not pay for easements. Any easements that we purchase comes out of our budget, so we're trying to negotiate those carefully, and where we can on the gravity end, we're trying to negotiate with sewer taps on some of those bigger parcels down there. So, and like I said, I've gotten 3, and we're still. I've got 2 on the ropes that we're still working with. So they're a little difficult, but we're still working on it, and I think we can move through that, and hopefully secure the ones with our neighbors and citizens here in West Fork without being out money. I know some of those folks in Fayetteville, they don't care if we have to get our sewer up there, and they're going to want money. So we are going to have to purchase a few easements up through there. But luckily we stay on Fayetteville property for quite a ways, and now Greenland's just bought some of the Culver place, so that should be an easy easement to acquire there too. So But yeah, fall of 19 is where we're at right now. Barring any more holdups. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Betcha.
Chad? He's getting as bad as Chief Nelson.
Chief Nelson was pretty fast,
He was.
tonight. Well, we hadn't really been doing anything, so. Before I start with the art stuff, I do want to touch on the welcome sign just a minute. If y'all have driven by there at night, you may have realized the lights aren't real bright and quite adequate. Jennifer Ogle and her husband Isaac, who did the lights and the landscaping and things, are looking at some different lights that are going to be brighter, or adding some more lights to it. But other than that, I thought it turned out really well. They did a great job, and Isaac Ogle donated a lot of materials and time to do that, and so I appreciate that myself, and the work that the beautification committee has done on that project. But to see it finally pretty much be done, it looks good, and I think once some of that stuff blooms, it's going to be really nice up there. So as far as Parks Department goes, we've obviously we've been preparing for our season, organizing teams, and that's always fun. We wound up with just over 240 kids, 40 participants on 21 teams. Those are all pretty well set. There's a couple that we're still can use a player or two, so we may have a few more players, but for the most part those are set. And then of course we've been getting the fields and the complex ready for teams to start practicing, as well as the high school. Both high school teams have already played some games down there, and everything's gone pretty smoothly. We've done had to do some repair work to the bathrooms. We replaced the water fountains and got a working water fountain down there. We just went with one. We did add some motion lights in the restrooms that'll come on when you come in, and so that'll save us be a little bit more economical too, and save us some energy there. We had some asphalt projects planned down there that we waited for this year's budget, so we're hoping to do them in January or February, and of course the weather did not cooperate, so we're still going to try to get them done next week during spring break, when there won't be as much activity down there. But other than that, we're set up and just pretty well ready for the season. And then also a couple other projects that we've been working on. The flagpole at Carter Park, it was finished set today, and the flag is up. Also the one at City Hall that I've been working on is up, and it's got flags on as well, and they both turned out really nice, and I think in good areas, and a good addition to both of those properties. Our fence, our wooden privacy fence at Carter Park, we've been working on. We got those cleaned and being stained. They would have finished last week, but the people doing them had an issue with their product, so they're going to finish it, and they're also going to do the one at the community center. And what they've got done so far looks really good, and not only will it help the looks of that fence in the area down there and at the community center, but it also help preserve the life of that fence for several more years. At least that's what I'm told, and I hope so. So that's looking real well. And then we're also still working on a walking trail around the Carter Park facility. Susan Naiman, who's on my Parks Committee, is helping me with research and grant applications to help pay for that as well. That's something it'll be at least midsummer or late summer, and possibly in fall before that, just depending on what grants we can accommodate. So, and then I think lastly, I will say that and this, you'll be glad to hear this, the Easter egg hunt is coming back to the community. the new pastor at the Assembly of God Church, Jordan, I just lost his, I think it's Smith, I'm not sure though, but they are spearheading it. He reached out to me, so we're going to assist and help them in the planning and a little bit of that, but it's going to be at Riverside Park, March 31st. They're going to expand upon that. They're going to bring in inflatables and have a lot. I think he's got some flyers out around town now. I haven't seen them yet, but I was told they did. So it'll be a great community event, and so we're going to help him with that a little bit. I've got a meeting with him tomorrow to go over a few more things on how we can help and stuff. So, but they're doing it. They're spearheading it. They're organizing it. We're just going to assist them any way that's necessary. And I think that's it, or at least enough.
Any questions for Chad? Thank you, sir.
Okay, you guys will probably be by City Hall, but if you get a chance, some of y'all will be a card or two. But the flagpole turned out really nice. It's a good addition to that complex down there. It needed it desperately, I think. So proud of that. So, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Chief Myers is missing. Christine?
I don't have a lot on the financials. We're 2 months into the year, so there's not a lot to report yet. I will have, the end of March, I'll have a quarterly report that will outline on the budget the areas where department heads need to be watching for the first of the year. But other than that, I don't really have anything on the financials. If anybody got any questions?
We're still a month out on hard numbers for the building.
Yes.
But we will be under budget on that. So.
Yeah. That's actually our next thing, so that's what I was going to move to.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just didn't know if you made anything on the financials. No, there's a, I'm sorry, did you? So in your packet, there's a February sheet for Baldwin and Shell that shows that we had $588 left in contingency. But as far as Baldwin and Shell goes, right now we're about $3,000 under budget. They will have a few more items that we'll have to pay out the end of March, and that will finalize. They had some work for their contractors that like their mileage and that kind of stuff that didn't get turned in time to do the February billing. So we'll have a little bit more to pay out in March. And then there was additional money left over in the loan also. So I think altogether we should be somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 under budget when it's all said and done. And it should be completely final in March. And everything up there is going really good. We had a sewer hiccup that we've already gotten taken care of. But other than that, I think everything's going good. There were, for February, there were 2 change orders. One was for PC hardware, and it was a credit of $179. And that was actually, they had charged the wrong amount of sales tax on a month before, so they gave us a credit on that. And then the other one was D&W Contractors, and it was $750, and that paid for some extra parking that for some reason we missed on the original plans, but some of the parking spaces hadn't been lined out properly, so they came back and restriped those and put the tire stops, whatever they're called, in 6 additional spaces. So that was that $750. So we do need to have those change orders approved if we can.
Any questions about those? We have a motion to approve the change orders.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Motion to second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. And so can we move forward on this resolution under old business with the members we have present? Yes, sir. We have enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It would be unanimous. There is no vote. Okay. In your vote. Their vote would be unanimous, that you would have to vote as well.
Okay.
Be on the conference.
All right, so under old business, we have resolution 2018-03 to repeal resolution 010-07. So we spoke about this at the last council meeting. This is the payout to two employees, one of which is former, for life, $5,000 a year.
I'll make that motion that we.
What motion are you making?
I'm making a motion to pass resolution 2018-03.
You say motion?
I wrote that one that way, that's the way and I wrote this one.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve the resolution as it's written. We have a second. Is there any discussion on these before we take a vote?
I think we discussed it at length last time.
Were you here last time?
I was not, but
Or you have to?
I think so. I think we discussed it before that too.
We did it some in a budget
Been
meeting.
discussed a couple times, yeah.
For years.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, well, let's do a roll call. Misty Cottle,
Yes.
Don Rollins,
Yes.
Kira Hungate,
Yes.
Jeff Upton.
Yes.
I'll vote yes as well. Pass it, move on. So that motion carries. So we'll move into new business. What on here can we not do with the members present? Can we do all of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first item under new business is the Planning Commission has recommended Martin Shack. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Shachter. Are you Martin? I am. Hey, come on forward, man.
He knows how to pronounce it.
Yeah. How are you?
Doing well. How are y'all tonight?
Good.
Awesome.
So I'm glad to have your application for the Planning Commission. Sorry I wasn't at the last meeting to meet you.
That's fine.
But I was hoping you'd be there last Thursday.
Yeah, couldn't quite make it off work in time.
Yeah, it's all right. It was a good meeting though. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Why you want to be on the Planning Commission?
Sure. Well, I've been living in West Fork a lot of my life. Went to the University of Arkansas. Moved back here with my wife about 3 years ago now. I live up on Cedar Avenue, one of those unpaved roads actually. So maybe I'll address that at a different meeting. Yeah, I saw posted on the Facebook page that there were some open seats on various councils and commissions and committees and commissions. So I thought I'd be interested in taking a crack at some city works.
Very good.
So I'm interested. Yeah, absolutely. I attended one meeting and didn't fall asleep. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. So I'm back for more.
Very good.
That's a start.
Any questions from the council? No? So I tell everyone that whether I'm appointing them to the Planning Commission or something else, the hardest part of it is taking your wants out of the equation, trying to vote for what's best for the city.
Yep.
Sometimes it's very difficult, but if you can do that, you'll be a good member. So
that's what I plan to do.
okay. Well, I happily recommend Martin to the Planning Commission. Would the council vote to approve that recommendation?
Make a motion that we approve his appointment.
I'll say. Motion second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Okay. And have they got your information? Does Christy have your information?
Oh yeah, I've been getting emails.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
I'll start work. Not officially now.
Thank you. There's a lot of work to do there. All right. Item 2. Approve an amendment to Ordinance 305, library board members, and so that's two different ordinances. So Ordinance 305, did you guys read that amendment? It's basically keeping the library board the same with the exception of allowing them to appoint 2 members from outside of the city limits, up to 5 miles outside the city limits. I think that's appropriate. The library serves far more than just those who are inside the city limits. So, is there any discussion on that before we move forward? Is there a motion to approve that or
I'll make
move
that
forward?
motion that we amend ordinance number 305, that we make the motion to pass it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is ordinance 400, maintenance of real property. Everyone read that? John, we do have one typo in this. Section 313. Storing piles of dirt, rocks, gravel, and sand.
I don't know, Honor. Mayor.
Just something I think it's probably sand.
Sand. It's sand. We can correct that.
Okay. When I first looked at it, I thought maybe stain, but then that didn't fit either, so.
Google.
Yeah. So, I'm sure everyone read this, but the main change here isn't who is defined as an owner. Have you read this? Sure. Okay.
Of course.
But it's in who's defined as an owner. And so in the past, where we've really struggled in the city with enforcing some property violations is we have to, the way our ordinance was written, we had to go to the property owner. Well, the property owner, we may not know who it is. It may be an entity, it may be a bank, who knows who the property owners are. So this actually defines the property owner as whoever is the tenant or whoever is currently residing on the property. Okay, so now those rent houses, and we have several houses in this city that are owned by a trust from who knows where. The place is destroyed, and now the police department can serve the tenant. We can find the tenant. We have far more options in cleaning up some of that stuff. Any questions about that? Skip back, anything out on that?
I would take a motion to suspend the rule before we pass it.
Okay.
And vote.
Wait. We don't have a new ordinance yet.
Oh, I thought that's what you were.
Do we want to use this as the new ordinance, or do we?
I don't. I thought you did.
No, my intention was just for them to approve you to work on
Yes, ma'am.
changing this into an ordinance for us.
So
we're using this as a template.
Yes.
Right. And so we'll just do that on this one, because that is ready to pass when we do this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So everyone has read it. Do we like it? Do we like the direction of it? Okay. So can we get a motion and a second to have the city attorney work on drafting something that pleases him a little bit more? Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Ordinance 469. So ordinance 469 is to repeal ordinance 129, our solicitor's permit.
You can make this really short. It's patently illegal. We need to get it off the books.
Yes. I was actually surprised when I read that was passed in 1980. Some of the language, I thought it was passed...
1950?
Yeah, right.
It probably was originally written in 1950 and just kept getting passed around.
Okay. So currently, we have a solicitor's ordinance. If someone wants to sell in town, they have to come by city. They have to pay, I think, $2, and the city has to provide lots of material to them. We have to provide them a badge for that $2 fee. They have to provide us with some healthcare records that we, I think we display. If anybody is curious about what blood types, kind of medical problems they may have, yes. So that's what we're talking about doing away with. The city attorney has advised us that we don't need an ordinance, period. The chief is, more than capable with the ordinances that we have, that the state has, to enforce anything that might have been in ordinance 120, or ordinance, 129.
And our fellow cities have the ordinance to get sued right and left right now. So, we'd like to get that off the books.
So, is there any discussion on that? Any questions? No? All right.
I guess I do have a question. What ordinances do we have in place? Is it like a Green River ordinance or something like that? Or
So, what we look at is if there's someone in your yard that you don't want there, and you either have a sign in your window that says, "Don't knock on my door, no solicitors," or you tell them to leave and they don't, that's trespassing.
Right.
And that's state law, and we also have, I'm sure, an ordinance to cover that too. And that's just the first way of looking at it. There's several others. They've got, loitering is one of the things that got kind of struck down at the statewide level, but there is still loitering. You can still be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and police officers have, the same power to do a Terry stop that they've always had. Stop you and ask you what you're up to. And so, I'm going to talk to the chief first, and I think that they feel confident. I don't know that this was really being enforced by the police very often anyway. Yeah. So it'll be, I think that if they need more tools, we'll be able to give them to them as we find out we need them.
Right. Okay. I'm just kind of curious what.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance number.
Hang on.
You make a motion to suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules.
Suspend the
Thank
rules.
you, Mr.
Read by title only. Ordinance number 469.
I'll second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Now, Misty, would you care to make a motion?
Oh, that's right. Make a motion that we pass ordinance number 469. I'll second it.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries.
And that's, Marsh, that's a unanimous vote, including the mayor's vote. All voted yea.
Yes. Sorry.
He's a late to the party.
With only 5 of you here, you're all going to have to vote, yes.
Do you want to leave this for time?
Oh, sure do. Ordinance to repeal the ordinance number 129. Good enough? All right. They don't want to hear any more.
And so, item 4 is to choose an engineer of record. Isaac, you want to speak to this some? And so, I think this is a yearly project that we should be doing that we haven't been doing a great job of in the past. We ask for engineers to send their qualifications, a list of qualifications to us. It doesn't mean we have to change anything necessarily, but we do need to be aware that there's other engineers out there looking for some work. Isaac still has the same leeway he's always had in contacting engineers to do the various work that we have done in the city.
Yeah, it was brought to our attention through the TAP grant process that we needed to have a engineer of record, and that's kind of what prompted this, to get the statement of qualifications. McClellan has been the engineer down here for, I guess, ever since the sewer project probably got started when Robert White was there. So, and I'm not sure when the last one of these was done. So yeah, we just need to have one on record to move forward, and we can do it. We can do it yearly.
Do you feel good continuing with McClellan?
Yeah. We got them, of course, they're working on a sidewalk project right now, and of course Nick is gold and working on our sewer project. And Nick will continue to work on our sewer project even next year if we choose to go a different direction. Nick's under contract, so through the duration of the sewer project, so we won't lose him if we do move in a new direction.
We take a vote on that, if they are indeed our engineer of record? Is that?
I find engineers to be very responsive people, and amongst that class of people, I find Nick to be about one of the most responsive engineers I've ever come across.
He is my morning coffee. He usually calls me by 8 o'clock every morning, but yeah, he's phenomenal.
You can take a voice vote on that, Mayor.
Okay. We get a motion second to McClellan as our engineer of record.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Motion second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right. Up next is our contract between the owner and architect. You guys have all met Brett, right? Our architect? Brett, the architect that's working on our project. So that just means you need to get to the next meeting that we have invited to. He's a great guy, working hard for the city. All I can tell you that the guy has unlimited patience. I mean, he does. I won't deny that some of those meetings with Friends of the Library and the library board, me and some of the others, I was ready to pull my hair out. It just wasn't moving quick enough.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, mine or yours? But Brett, seriously, he is extremely patient, worked extremely diligently with all the members involved. And so this is his contract for us for the next 3 buildings, right? This covers all 3 of the buildings. Has his pricing in it, his expectations for the city, what our expectations should be for he and his firm. And any questions regarding the contract?
Before you do a motion, can we also add in there how the council wishes to pay that fee? Is it going to be paid out of the bond money that's set aside for those projects, or are we going to look at paying that through our reserves, or just so that when I go to pay those, I'm not assuming anything?
Okay.
So if you pay them out of general fund, which you're allowed to do with this project, it would give you a little more room in your bond funds. They're only allowed to be used for the project. So you want to have that flexibility.
Right. We're also looking at $85,000, so you have to.
So we're talking about budget adjustments.
How doable is that, money-wise? Is that comfortable?
Comfortable? $85,000. We can do it. Yeah, and I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt us to do it, but it is a lot of money. But it's like Tom said too, that's a lot of money to take out of their building projects too. So.
And so to Tom's point, they're already somewhat concerned if $471,000 is enough to fund the library addition. That's an extremely tight project for what we're trying to do. I mean, it's a limited project as it is. We could easily spend 3 times that down there and still, not be extravagant. So keep that in mind.
No doubt.
So do we have opinions that's what you'd like to do, is pay it out of the general fund? Is that?
I don't think she'd have mentioned it if you didn't have that.
I mean, I just.
Well, I'm not necessarily comfortable giving you my opinion, Dawn, but I will tell you that I feel like we have the money in reserves that we can do it and not hurt us.
And it gives us some more options too.
Okay.
let's say everything came in under budget, Christie, by a couple $1,000 here and there, like your last project did, by a couple hundred, you could always pay the general fund back, I think, for the bonds.
Right.
Because definitely, there's no doubt that the architect would fund the project. So you,
Okay, so
if there's both options.
Gives us a lot of flexibility.
I don't expect
I'm
that.
kind of leaning towards taking it out of the bonds when it's already set instead of just starting to add more to a project that's already a committed project. You know, I mean, if later we want to, help out and do some more, but it's like we're giving more money to a project that nobody's been asked for. I don't like that.
And something else that we can do is there are stages of payments. So we're gonna, like his first payment, I can't remember without going back and looking at the contract how much that is, if it's like 25% or what, I don't know if he remembers in reading that. But anyway, we'll pay a percentage soon, real soon. If we want to pay that out of either reserves or bond funds, however you guys want to do it, and then once we get estimates in on the cost of construction and all that, because we haven't gotten those yet, it's not like we can't change later and say we're going to have enough money to put it here or we need to. So it doesn't have to be set in stone. I just want direction at this point when it's time to write those first checks where you guys want to see that come from. It's not a decision for me to make. That's a decision for you guys to make. So.
Misty, what did you say? I'm sorry, I got very confused. What did you say that you wanted? I'm leaning more towards taking it out of the bonds versus the general fund. But if you take it out of the bonds, then you're taking project money away, was my understanding, right?
That is correct. Yeah. So if you look at that last page,
Yes, because I'm actually not wanting to, at this point, to add more money, because project money is already there for the project, correct?
so we have bonds to
Right, to pay for
fund
the
the
project.
project, yes.
So
That is
it's
right.
like giving the general fund would be giving more money to the projects.
That is one way to look at it,
That's the
absolutely.
way I'm
Yeah,
seeing it, and-
I don't disagree with you. I would have everyone look at the back sheet where it shows the fee per project. So we see the courts building, we see the cost for the project, we see the architect's fee for the project, we see the library, what the architect's fee for it is. And so I think the point is simply being made that $37,000 for the library, that potentially could go a long ways, and there's going to have to be furniture purchased, shelving purchased. There's a lot of purchases at the back end of this that if we're spending it out of that bond, we could be short.
I don't know, I just think that I'd rather them come and ask at that point what they want, how much money they want and what they want it for, instead of giving it freely on the front end.
That's fair enough. Any other thoughts, discussion? So do keep in mind, we have, what we're doing here is giving Christie, once we approve this, we're also giving her direction so that she can write those first checks. We can always add to it later or take away later, okay? So, yes, sir.
I just clarify one thing that Misty said. She said it was a project that nobody asked for. Why?
No, I didn't
What do
say
you mean
that.
by that? Didn't you say that?
Oh, she meant that no one had asked for additional funding yet for the project.
Oh, okay.
But that could come down the
Yes,
road.
so that's what I'm saying, nobody's even asked for any more money, and so why am I going to vote to give more money to a project that no one's asked for? So to my opinion is you've got a certain amount, and you've already made plans of how you're going to spend that. So when you want more money, I want you to come back to me and ask for more money, and then tell me what you plan on doing with it.
Okay. Just that one statement I was confused by. So.
It did kind of sound that way, but I knew what you meant.
Paula, you got any input? Your stakeholder in this?
I was just wondering how much money she would let us have so we could just go ahead and ask for it now.
Yeah, that is the nature of it. Communities aren't to throw money in. You're building things that will last, right?
All right, any other discussion on this? Someone make a motion one way or the other? Most importantly, make a motion that we approve, or not approve, make changes to, our contract. And then, in the motion, you can also give some direction as far as where we pull that money from.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we approve the contract and that we give Christie the authority to pay it out of the bonds.
Okay, I'm totally confused.
I think we should do those separate.
Can you do those separately? Would you not suggest that, Tom? Because your actual motion, your actual item says to authorize the mayor to sign a contract with that company, not whoever the heck pays it. But that you're giving him permission. Do y'all want to change your whole item, or can we just vote on that, Tom, and then go to your payment?
I don't even know that we need a motion as far as the direction the council wants Christie to pay this.
Right.
I mean,
But they're two separate things is what I'm asking. Y'all figure it out.
Do you think it's Christie's fault? Because I do.
Everything's
Let's tar and feather.
Like we're rolling along and then Christie starts coughing.
She got
So,
But seriously,
no, I agree.
seriously, do you understand what I'm saying?
And then let's go ahead and consider what Christie has.
So what your motion should be is to authorize the mayor to go into a contract.
True.
Then y'all can deal with the payment of it, right?
I'll make that motion, so I'll withdraw the previous motion and I'll make this motion.
Second.
And still second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
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 Thank you.
Hundred screw, and let me just real quick, because I want to clarify the next thing. Christie didn't say she wanted to change the way she was going to pay. She asked for clarification as to how you want to pay.
Yes.
In other words, right now, there is no plan to pay the architect's fees out of the bond, and there's no plan to pay it out of general fund. Typically, professional services are paid out of general fund. Typically. Okay? These are connected with a project, and so I think Christie was asking you for clarification.
Right.
And making you guys aware that if you pay out of the bond, that's every dollar you pay to the professional services is one more brick that you won't put in building somewhere. So that's all I think she's saying.
Which I think is a better route to go.
You don't have a plan, there's no direction you've been given by the bondholder, right? Or the trustee that what you have to do, right?
I'm sorry.
The trustee hasn't told you that you have to pay it out of the.
No.
And in fact, if the trustee says you can't, that's, regardless of what I think, that's the final word.
Right. Yeah.
So I think you're just
My
asking,
understanding
you've got to
is
write a check in a couple of weeks.
it can be paid out of the bond, is my understanding from the
Mine
trustee.
too, mine too.
Yeah,
So you're just asking which way you want me to do it.
what the council wants. Yeah.
All right. So we have a motion second and it passed.
For you to do the contract.
Sign
Now,
the contract, yes.
y'all got another motion about
Yeah.
this
Is
paying
there some more
thing?
discussion on this? Now that we have the contract out of the way.
I hate to take it out of the budget, but
Then make a motion. Or do something.
Do we have a motion?
Because she is going to, y'all understand, she is going to have to make this payment, I guess, before y'all meet next.
so that's what
Okay,
it said in mine.
And that's what I'm saying, that's why I think it's the urgency of it, not so much the logistics, but I just want to know what you want to do. I'll write her down. I'm ready.
I think Marcia's the troublemaker.
I know, Tom has already told you to tar and feather her. Now, don't start
We're gonna
changing.
change that.
I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm
make
sorry,
my same motion that, that Christie pays out of the bonds.
Out of the bond, okay.
All right. Do we have a second? Do we have an amendment to that motion?
Your motion died slow and painful.
It is dying
Yes,
very
I know,
slowly.
but unless it's unanimous, neither one's gonna get passed.
It's like a little wiggly thing on the table all dead.
I know, but I'm sorry.
So
And then-
without a motion, or
No
without a
motion.
second, that motion's gonna die.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes. Yes.
All those opposed say no.
Will you do a
No.
name call vote? Yeah, I got 2 no's, 2 yeses.
Well, the way you do it is the mayor would call, he calls it as he sees it. And then if someone disagrees, they can call for a voice. So, I think
Oh,
here it didn't pass. I mean, Misty would agree, it didn't pass. But so whatever he says. he calls.
I heard 2 and 2, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, now what are you gonna do, Tom? What do we do now? We babble it out somewhere.
The mayor said that motion didn't pass, now you're back to poor Christie not knowing what to do.
I know it. The mayor can't vote, make that
We follow
decision.
precedent,
No, the mayor can't vote, make that decision. It died.
I think
Died.
that,
Motion died,
I don't
correct?
think that that's something that has to have a,
No, I think that, you know, Christie just doesn't want you all to yell at her next week.
Right,
you
right.
can yell at me all you want.
So it kind of really back up to her and the mayor as to where they're gonna take that out. And y'all know, on the back end, it can be fixed either way.
Okay.
If she pays out a general fund and y'all say, no, I want the funds from the bond to pay it, y'all can refund the general fund with the bond. So it's gonna be fine either way. I think she just wanted to know for the next payment what to do.
How you feeling about that?
I feel like it's not budgeted, and so if I write a check, it's not an authorized payment if you guys haven't told me where to take it out of the budget. And my auditor would not like that. So,
Yeah, I knew that.
so,
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Well, I think there's already projects and they have a budget for them and they need to be paid out of that. We didn't use them with did we use them with the new building, the city building?
Parker,
Yeah. And how did we do it then?
it came out of the general fund.
But see, that wasn't like a sales.
No, and that's not necessarily true. Kira, I think I'd have to go back and look, but I think it came out of both. I think we paid some of it out of general fund and some of it out of the extra money for the loan that we had. I'd have to go back and verify that, but I think we did a little bit of it. But that was budgeted when we did
I understand where you're coming from. You're saying that if we go do this, it kind of goes, oh, well, we've got this, whatever the total is.
371,000 for the library.
Well, I mean, the total fees.
$86,000.
So, you know, you're saying if we pay this, then we got $86,000 more that we can spend when we really don't, is what you're saying.
And what I'm also saying is when people want their roads and, paved and things like that, that's where we could take and do with that same money.
But I also understand that typically that these fees get paid from the general fund. But, I mean, that's something that, we didn't discuss before, so it's kind of, which way we want to do it.
I think it should come out of each project.
I honestly don't think it matters to begin. I mean,
I think one way or the other, the
if we
project
take it
will
out
be
of the
funded.
project, right, if we take it out of the project and we end up short on the end of the project, we're gonna have to do
add money to it
something.
anyway.
Yeah.
Let's take it out of the project.
And like I said, once we get estimates, we'll know where we stand. And so maybe we pay the first payment out of the bond money, and then from there on, we know we have to pay it out of the general. I mean, until we know what we're expecting to pay later, it's really kind of hard to say it's okay to take $37,000 out of that. We don't need it. You know what I mean? But if whatever you vote on tonight's not set in stone, that's not what it has to be from here on out. We can go back and say, okay, the other 3 payments need to be done this way. So.
Yeah, maybe that's your first payment, Misty.
I will, if you just authorize the first payment, I'll come back to you before the second one. Because I won't have authorization
Either way.
today.
But I think you're going to get more participation if you narrow the scope of that.
Or we can stay here another hour, that's fine.
No, it's fine.
I have some really exciting mayor's comments I'd like to get to.
It's blank here.
I think either way,
That's what makes them exciting.
Either way, they end up throwing money at the end of it, so.
I know, but I don't like,
That way it gives her more latitude to be able to do,
like,
like without having.
Would anybody else like to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion that we pass it, take it out of general fund.
All of them?
All of them, $85,396.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
so what?
He made a motion that we pay all of it out of the general fund. Is there a second to that
Is there a
motion?
second? Anybody second?
I think it's eventually gonna come out of there anyway, so I'll go ahead and second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of paying all of it out of the general fund, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, say no.
I vote yes.
Yes.
It was unanimous.
It was unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Regarding our architect and the crazy guy, I was at a function where I heard our architect talking about us. He didn't know that I was listening to him. He was talking to other people who work with cities, and he was praising this town, talking about how the project had come off in a way that he'd never seen before. The community worked together. He talked about people who went out there and volunteered. He talked about how everybody was on the same page, how quickly it went. And he didn't know I was listening. So I just wanted y'all to know that he thinks as highly of you guys as you think of him.
That's great.
I didn't want to tell you that until after you approve his contract, but he does. So
That's nice.
That's good to hear.
Highly motivated to work for y'all.
All right, so for mayor's comments, I think this is safe to go ahead and announce. West Fork is getting a medical facility that will provide urgent care, primary care physician, and women's health. So that should probably be before the council, well, probably won't come before the council, but the planning commission is going to hopefully approve their lot split that's needed to make that project get started. So it's going to be over by Harps. Hopefully we'll see some signs of construction taking place in the near future.
Do you know who's coming in?
I don't know who it is.
Access Arkansas.
Access.
They partner up with Harps in really small towns. The closest one to us is in Garfield. But they've got, I think there's 5 or 7, something like that in Arkansas.
So I'm excited about that. Mr. Carnes, we have you in attendance, sir. I should have asked you earlier, is there anything, do you have anything for us, anything you'd like to report, or any questions for us as far as a relationship between us and the school?
I mean, I'm not really prepared for that tonight, but
Sure.
I mean, I could say a lot of things, how much I appreciate the council, our school resource officer, the decision you all made to split that with us 50-50, and I mean, I could go on. I really appreciate the support of our police department, and appreciate Isaac, how he works with Rob, and I know we've got, it's an old building, we've 48 years old, our high school, 47 years old, I guess. And so we're going to try to get some of that resolved, some of those extra drainage issues and stuff. But anyway, I want to, Tuesdays are a prime night for sports or events at the school, so I really don't have the chance to come to these. So I did tonight, our softball game was canceled, so I wanted to come and support our kids, but also sit in on a meeting. But I do sometime, Mayor, would like to address the council and just maybe give an update on the school, share kind of, some of the good and the bad.
Well, and I'll tell you, Mr. Carnes, I think both of us have failed in that position, because I should be doing the same thing to the school board, had every intention of doing so. I think I've made it to 1 or 2 meetings, and that's it. So.
We're busy, but anyway.
Now we know why those little children were shaking. He was thinking.
That's right.
Listen to us.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to talk to us about.
No, not tonight, but I do want to.
Can I say something, John?
Absolutely.
John, I appreciate your comments except for one, and that's how old that school is. I was in the class, it was the first class that went all the way through that school. Thank you for making me feel so smart.
Gosh.
Wow. All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
That motion second, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed, no, motion carries.